What does the tech stack look like with AI agents and infrastructure? So what, like in the last wave, there was this big move to cloud where distributed systems became interesting. First you were in the frame, in the mainframe, then you moved, that was centralized in one big, like a hall where the computer is with 30 tons. And then you had personal computers, so it was on the edge. And cloud came and everyone was again in the cloud. Then mobile came, suddenly everyone was on the edge again. And so now AI came, and now there's this big build out of data centers. So everyone is back in that big hall again. And then when agents come, everyone will go back again into, like, I'm on my little device here. It will fit all in my little devices. There's already a lot of work done running these things on the edge, decentralized, not in this big giant supercomputers. Those supercomputers are used for training. After the training, we touched on this with RAG. That's the post-training phase. The whole data pipeline is an industry that needs to be built. With the inference part, there's an entire sort of like industry built around the margin of NVIDIA to then build cheaper GPUs, or, like, for instance, Croc LPUs, language processing units. They are easier to operate, no air cooled. And what they're doing is to, like, have them in any conventional data center, and at some point also on the edge, like cell phone towers from big telecom providers. You want to be close to the customer. You want to be having everywhere presences. And that's where the inference happens. Inference means I'm running an AI model specialized for a specific thing. In the future, there will be millions of specialized agents accessing specialized LLMs on specialized inference providers. We see a lot of neo clouds forming. That's how this demand will roll out and be massive. And a lot of people underestimate actually the impact of this. And so what happens there is that if you think of what the future will be, there will be, like, these massive, like, opportunities of, like, multiple companies that can, like, build really these specialized agents that they can bring to you, like the plumber next door. You don't call a plumber 500 miles away. You want a plumber right now. And so all of that translates into the digital age with AI. That's the wave now. As we saw with the last wave with cloud, this is the agentic wave. Facebook renamed to Meta, the metaverse, Salesforce, Agent 4. We see a lot of these things happening now, and I think that's what will happen here. Yeah, so building an agent is actually pretty easy. It follows a few paradigms, taking the instructions from a human that would work. If you can teach an intern, if you can teach a mid-level engineer, if you can teach a mid-level professional, the agent can do that as well. Once you know that, you can, like, literally transfer this on almost every business case. It uses its key components, a good framework for reasoning, a good AI, and a good pipeline for your data. And that triangle, these three things together applied for law, health, and so forth. It's a rinse and repeat that happens over and over again. Think about how the internet browser came out. And now I'm looking here at, I think, 5,000 tabs that I have in my Chrome browser open. Think of that. It will be as intuitive for you as a worker as just open another tab in your browser. Just talks about, should the whole web change? Should you interface more with an agent rather with the web? That's a little bit more, like, futuristic, I would say. But the idea and the impact that this has is like the web browser had. And we saw how you included that in your work. Now, I think you do every day browsing, using search, and so forth. It will be as second nature to you with these agents, where we will use them for various work tasks that you have to do, or various, like, fact checks, little things here and there that you delegate. So really what you become is this maestro, orchestrator, operator. That's why OpenAI probably called it also operator, that takes instructions. And, like, back in the days when you made a phone call and you called the operator and, wait a second, I connect you, and they plugged something in. That's what this agent is doing, and that's what you're doing what the agent will do for you under the hood. And that can be scaled now. And the only thing where this really has a limit is the amount of data center and compute units. Famously, the single unit of compute now is a data center, and that's your limitation. That's your bottleneck. That's why the DGX of NVIDIA, they are like entire racks, entire little, like, pods, data centers that are shipped, and that's your single unit of this compute. And you need to have access to that. And that's what you need to scale on an infrastructure level. And then what you need to scale on the level on top of that is sort of the software that orchestrates that and making it accessible. Like, you made the web browser accessible to everyone. There will be big web browsers and so forth, but then really people start building their own agents, which I would say is the pendant to what a website would be.